Back when BMW started making series production electric vehicles, and no, I'm not talking about the prototype Mini E and the prototype Active E, it did so under the special BMW i sub-brand. These cars, the all-electric BMW i3, the range-extended BMW i3 Rex, and the plug-in hybrid BMW i8 sports car, and all of its associated variants, allowed BMW to experiment with electric vehicle drivetrain and new construction methods, all without doing any harm to its mainstream brand. In recent years, though, BMW has been clear that while the i brand will live on as a technology demonstrator and cutting-edge brand, the future of its main brand also lies with plug-in and, to some extent, hydrogen fuel cell technologies. Thus, we've seen the steady march of mainstream models gain plug-in hybrid variants, and in the last year, all-electric versions. Mini was first, with the Mini Cooper SE launching at the end of last year, and earlier this week, the main BMW brand got its first all-electric production vehicle reveal in the form of the 2021 iX3 electric SUV. Based on the X3, this first all-electric version was debuted as a concept in Shanghai back in 2018. The transition from concept to production vehicle has seen the iX3 change very little externally, but as the electric variant of the X3, a car that's available with an internal combustion engine, a plug-in hybrid drivetrain, and now an electric variant, it's hardly surprising, as the X3 is already an established model. But this week's reveal has at least cleared up some of the stuff we didn't know, so here's what we do now know and what we should expect from the production iX3 when it goes on sale very shortly. Before we get on with that though, let's acknowledge two really important things. First, this isn't a car that will come to North America. BMW originally planned to introduce the iX3 to the US along with the rest of the world after an initial Chinese market rollout. But that was canned earlier this year, allegedly because BMW's North American dealers balked at the iX3's planned range, stating that buyers just wouldn't want one. So if you're in North America, this video is probably less interesting than it might be if you're elsewhere in the world. But it also means I'm going to use metric for the video, as most of the markets where the car will be sold use metric measurements. Second, BMW is known for being very loquacious in its press releases. They tend to be heavy on superlatives and not always deep on tech. If you think I'm joking, the long version of the iX3 press release is 24 pages long, while the tech sheet itself is less than one. Anyway, with me having dealt with those two caveats, let's delve in. In terms of design, the iX3 looks from a distance like the rest of the X3 family. The front kidney grille is filled in with a textured panel and blue accents, while the same BMW i blue accents the door sills. At the rear, two massive trim pieces sit where the exhaust would be on a gasoline X3, and yes, they're BMW i blue too. The only other subtle styling differences, the special alloy wheels for the iX3, and the i-branded triangular accent low down on the A-pillar. The charge port has moved from the front quarter panel on the concept to the rear on the production, where a gas filler cap would be, and BMW quotes a maximum charge rate using a compatible CCS quick charger of 150 kilowatts. In terms of low-speed charging, the 74 kilowatt-hour usable battery pack can be filled from empty to full in 7.5 hours using a three-phase 11 kilowatt charging station. I'm sure most of you already know this, but unlike the US, where three-phase domestic power supplies are pretty darned rare, mainland Europe commonly has three-phase to every domestic home. Thus 11 kilowatt AC charging stations are pretty standard. For single-phase mains electricity at 230 volts, though, the charge time is significantly longer, thanks to that maximum 7.4 kilowatt single-phase charge capability. But honestly, you'd be using a station like this for overnight charging, so I think it's less of a problem. The battery itself, though, is worthy of note. It's a new generation NMC 811 battery that BMW says is free from rare earth metals. There are a total of 188 prismatic cells in the pack, grouped into 10 modules. And BMW says that each of the battery cells are, quote, individually controllable and encased in aluminium. This suggests a fairly complicated next-generation battery management system akin to General Motors' promised Ultium battery system. Sadly though, I've not been able to see enough tech specs to know for sure. This battery pack, along with the iX3's rare earth-free motor, are frankly the biggest things to note about this car. BMW says the power density of the entire electric drive system, from battery pack to motor, is 30% improved over previous generation BMW electric cars. Given that the iX3 is based on an internal combustion engine vehicle and thus doesn't get the benefit from a ground-up design that many other EVs do, that is a fantastically important factor, as it means more can be fitted into less space, which in this vehicle is already at a premium. As to performance, well, unlike other plug-in crossovers coming to the market, the iX3 is only available as a rear-wheel drive model, with a 210 kilowatt current-excited synchronous motor, which I'm going to say is essentially a hybrid variation on two different motor designs, putting out around 400 Newton meters of torque. The 0 to 100 kph is around 6.8 seconds, with a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. BMW quotes a WLTP test cycle range of up to 460 kilometers, although that's not clear if it's been ratified or is just an internal estimate. Frankly, that seems on the high end given the battery pack size, especially as WLTP is, quite frankly, a little over-optimistic. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. Some of these long-lead capabilities may lie in the use of a heat pump rather than resistive heating, but as I say, I remain to be convinced. Given it's based on the X3, the cabin is very familiar to existing X3 drivers, with a few tweaks here and there, and a nod to the iX3's all-electric heritage. The gear shifter is straight out of the i8, and you get the usual electric vehicle-themed menu systems and drive modes, standard now for BMW's electric and electrified vehicles. When it comes to load carrying, the iX3 can accommodate 510 litres of storage in the boot, which is 40 litres less than the internal combustion engine model, because the iX3 shares the same platform, and it can tow up to 750 kilos. That's less than some other models in the market, but frankly it's better than nothing. BMW is just about ready to begin series production of the iX3 in a state-of-the-art production facility in Shenyang, China, a facility operated and owned by BMW Brilliance Automotive. The first model to be completely built in China for global export, it's likely saved BMW some significant money over producing the same vehicle in North America or Europe, but that certainly isn't reflected in the estimated starting price. In the UK, it's expected to go on resale for around £60,000 sterling before any incentives. And that, in case you were wondering, is above the price of any Model 3 variant in the UK and likely, although I don't know because Model Y UK pricing isn't out yet, probably above the entry-level price for Model Y too. Which leads me to ask the question, what is the iX3? Well, first and foremost, it's a compact crossover aimed, I think, at the Chinese market, where brand-conscious middle class will pay a premium for a car that's got a Western brand over buying a Chinese-owned one. Second, I think it's not quite a compliance car for Europe, as BMW is intending to make series volumes of them, but given the price point and the current specs, frankly, it's a BMW for BMW fans. It's not a conquest car aiming to take back the market from Tesla and other rivals. What do you think? That's it for today's video. I am super glad you stopped by. If you'd like to help us make more videos like this, please do like, comment and subscribe, and you can support us using any of the links below, which now include Ko-fi, Patreon and Bitcoin. Don't forget that you can chat with the entire team on Discord for free. There's a link below. And if you are a Patreon supporter, you'll get extra special access to our Discord only chats for Patreons. Thanks to the folks scrolling by on my right. They are our charged up patrons. Thanks also go to Jeffrey Songster, John Lyons and Regine Fellows, our self-driving patrons. And extra special thanks to our Starman level patrons Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea. If you're looking for something else to watch from this channel, then Google thinks you might enjoy this one, so check it out if you haven't. And as usual, I'll be back, probably tomorrow, with some more content for you all to enjoy. In the meantime, make sure you wash your hands, stay safe, and work to become a better, kinder person. Don't forget to strive for equality and treat others as you yourself would like to be treated. And please, if you are in North America, continue to wear a mask. We've got to beat COVID. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep evolving.